Hey everybody, Prepper Nurse 1 here. Today is Sunday, September 22nd, 2019. It is absolutely gorgeous again today. So I wanted to do a quick video here, and we're going to go over some things, and I think this is important information that everybody should probably take and definitely listen to, okay? So in an SHTF event, we all have a different game plan. So some people are planning on bugging in, some people are planning on bugging out. Some people have a a bug out location in mind, okay? Or you have your bug out retreat set up. Obviously it's not close to the city or suburbia where you live. It's probably a good distance away, and you know, you got it. Let's go under the assumption that you got it completely stocked up. You're ready to go at your bug out location, but because of work and other, you know, life constraints, you have to be, say, 100 miles away. So how long is it going to take you to get there? How long is it going to take you to get to your bug out location? How do you plan for it? What do you need to take into account of what's going to, you know, delay you getting there, and all those type of things. So we're going to talk about that, okay? So how long will it take you to get to your bug out location? All right. So we're going to go under the assumption an EMP is hit. Okay. So you can't drive a car. If you had a bicycle, that's great, and you got that set up, that would be great as well. But we're going to go under the assumption that you're going to have to bug out on foot. Okay. A couple factors just to start off with when you're getting ready to make your trip to your bug out location. Let's say you got your bug out bag all packed up, you're ready to rock, you're completely planned ahead of time, and you're ready to go. So what are some of the factors that we need to take into account? Number one, the most important factors are physical fitness, okay? How physically ready are we to take that trip, to get out the door and to go, okay? So most of us are not in great physical shape. You know, we're not in peak physical shape, okay? Your younger people are going to be more in peak physical shape, and even they're not going to be ready for this kind of an adventure if they have to go on it, okay? So, that's number one factor. The second factor that I want to bring up is who's in your group that's traveling with you, okay? So you could be in absolutely peak physical fitness, you're ready to go. You can go that, you know, most people think that they could walk 30 to 40 miles a day. That if you ask people, oh, I could do 30 miles in a day easy, no problem, okay? So we're going to talk about some factors that are going to slow you down in that thought process that you think you might be able to go 30 miles a day, which is absolutely unrealistic, okay? So the people that are in the group with you, you're talking dealing with having kids, old people, maybe you have a woman who is pregnant, depending on what term of pregnancy she's under. So you know, somebody's sick, or all those things are going to definitely be in a factor of how far you're going to be able to travel every day, okay? So we'll talk about your bug out bag to begin with. So in your bug out bag, you're going to probably need to have an overnight kit, sleeping bag, some kind of shelter, okay? You're going to have some bad weather clothing depending on what part of the country you're in, or even if you're not, you got to have, you know, your rain gear and that type of stuff, okay? Let's see, food, water, and we're going to get into food a little bit more too as well. Food, water, first aid kit, your weapons and your ammo, some form of water purification that you're going to use to make sure you're drinking fresh water, all right? And anything that you need for your bug out location that you don't have on site already at your bug out location. But you are very well planned individuals, and your bug out location is ready to go, okay? So food, let's talk about that. How much food are you taking? So you're estimating, you know, oh, I can walk 30 miles a day, no problem at all, okay? And so you're packed up for 3 days worth of travel to get to your location, which is 100 miles away. Well, there's a lot of factors that are going to slow you down, which we're going to go over in this, okay? And so now you don't want to run out of food because that could lead to your death. That's important to remember, okay? So Your bug out bag needs, you want to try to keep it at least 1/3 of your weight. So me being well, right around now I'm about 220. So 220, I would be looking at, 73 pounds, which there's no way I'm humping 73 pounds. I'm telling you that right now. It is not going to happen. There's no way for any great distance that I could carry that kind of weight. 50-pound pack, possibly, and that would kick the crap right out of me too. So I mean, you need to take those things into a factor when you're planning your bug out bag, how long it's going to take you, and all those type of things, and what you're going to need to make it safely to your location and alive. Okay, so you definitely, most of us are not at peak fitness. So it will definitely take you a lot longer to get to your destination than you think, okay? So a lot of people underestimate how many days it'll take. So, that's what you want to think about too. And again, if you don't have enough food to get you to your location, it could be the death of you, all right? So now we're going to talk about traveling, all right? You might be able to stay on the main roads, and then you might not. If you can't stay on the main roads, guys, and generally main roads are flat, right? So that's, we're looking at that and we're thinking, oh yeah, I can just get on the highway and walk. But now what we got to think about is military checkpoints, other refugees on the road, and obstacles, okay? What happens if there's been earthquakes and the road is not passable? If there is bridges that are out and you got to cross over rivers and creeks and those type of things. If you're talking hilly, how hilly it is to get to your bug out location. I mean, if you're up in the mountains, it's going to take you longer to traverse getting up there, all right? So those are things you want to think about. So now if you're going to talk about traveling, now if you have to go off-road, now we're dealing with, not all farmers' fields are going to be just perfectly great to walk on. So you're going to have to be careful to make sure somebody doesn't turn an ankle. Now you're also dealing with ditches. You're dealing with the barbed wire fencing. You're dealing with possibly, whatever the terrain may be. It might be hilly. You might have to, climb up stuff. You might have to come up on a swamp or a marsh. And you're either going to have to go through it or around it, which is going to delay and take more time. So those are things that you're going to want to think about. Floodwaters are definitely things to think about as well, okay? And the weather's going to definitely play a factor in it as well. Depending on what part of the country you're in, of course, you could be dealing with snow. You could be dealing with wind and rain. And anybody that's walked in the wind, just the wind, we're not even talking about rain, but just wind, if you're walking into a headwind, that is going to slow you down. So that's going to take time off of how far you're going to be able to go, okay? So those are things you're going to definitely need to think about as well. Walking through woods, okay, that is definitely going to be a factor as well. So, like I said, rivers and creeks, woods, hills, ditches, fences, all those things, swamps, marshes, those things, they're all going to slow you down, okay? If it's raining, if it's snowing, if you're having to trudge through the snow, again, those are all factors that are going to slow your travel down to get to your destination. Always plan for the worst, guys, because nothing is ever going to go as smoothly as you think that it is, okay? So those are things that are going to slow your trip. So again, most people think that they can go 30 miles a day, but they're absolutely wrong. Unless you are in peak physical fitness, and even then, you're not doing 30 miles a day, okay? So they got Naismith's rule, and it's N-A-I Smiths. That's how you say this guy's name. He was a 19th century mountaineer, and so he knew a thing or two about hiking and walking with a pack and stuff like that, okay? So if you are reasonably fit, not facing extreme weather or terrain or obstacles, okay? Remember we talked about those different obstacles and terrain, right? For every mile that you can see horizontal distance, it will take you 1 hour to cover it. So flat terrain, 1 mile, 3 miles is going to take you an hour. All right. If you are looking at, let's see, hold on a second. For every 2,000 feet you ascend, it will take you 1 hour. Okay, so if you're going uphill, it's going to definitely slow you down and take you longer. All right. So know the roads you're taking. because now this is a guy that was fit and in shape, and this is what he was basing his estimates on. If you are not in shape, you got people slowing you down. You have sick people. You have old people. You have little kids. You know, all those things are going to be a factor that's going to slow you down. So you really want to think about that. Okay. Let's see. So know your route. Whatever route you're taking, have that in mind. Have alternative routes also in mind in case you can't go the route that you planned on going. Okay. So you're definitely gonna be slower than you think you are. Weather conditions are going to play a factor. It's not going to be nice and sunny and a beautiful day to get out there and do this hike to your bug out location. All right. So you know, walking through deep snow is going to slow you down. You know, the rain and wind is going to slow you down. And you know, do you have that rain gear? You know, do you have that poncho in your bug out bag? You know, I'm going to tell you what. Getting out there and hiking in the rain, and now everything is soaking wet, that sucks. I'm telling you right now, that is no fun. All right. So I want you to think about those things. You know, so, and don't think you can get up in the morning and walk until sunset. That's important to remember too, guys. Because even like in the summertime, okay, you are going to be lucky to be walking 8 hours a day. So you're looking at about 8 hours optimal in, you know, middle of the summer type of conditions. Now, why is that? Okay, so we're going to talk about that. You're going to have to stop for breaks. You're going to have to stop and eat 3 meals a day. Okay, you're also going to have rest breaks of between 5 to 10 minutes for every hour that you're walking. Now, I want you to think about that a second. Just getting out and doing a hike with no gear on at all, and you go like a couple of miles, you go 3 miles, you know, you're kind of winded after that. You're ready to chill out, okay? And again, this is unless you're in absolutely peak fitness, okay? So you're not in peak fitness. None of us really are. So we're going to need rest breaks. And so, you know, so set aside time also to find a campsite every night and set up that campsite. You know, now we got to remember this too. Now this is important too. You're going to need to be looking after your feet. Your feet are going to be the key for this whole thing, for this hike, because that's what's going to get you there, okay? So taking care of your feet, your boots, making sure you have dry socks on. You know, if you have some kind of a foot powder that you can use that's going to help you, you know, do you have that in your bug out bag? I mean, these are things you really need to think about. And also looking after your gear, okay? So, you know, you'll be lucky, like I said, to walk 8 hours a day, even in the summertime. So how many people, like I said, are you walking with? You know, we talked about that with the older people. Somebody that's overweight, somebody that's extremely overweight is going to absolutely slow you down. They can't walk like you can walk. And this is something I want you to remember, and I talked about this, I think, one time before. The best day you're going to have hiking or walking is going to be your first day. And why is that? Because that's when you are absolutely rested, you're not sore, you're not tired, you really don't realize what you're getting yourself into. So your first day is going to be the day that you're going to travel the longest distance. So let's say, so he was Nesmith. He was saying basically, if you are in peak conditions with optimal weather and basically flat terrain, you can do 24 miles in a day. Okay, so, and that's in ideal conditions. So let's say it's not ideal conditions. Now we're going to have to cut that in a third. So now you're looking at 16 miles a day. Again, with taking breaks and you know, depending on how many people you have in your group and all those type of things. And like I said, that first day is going to be your best day. So let's say that first day you walked 12 miles. Let's say you made it 12 miles and you're thinking, okay, my bug out location's, you know, 60, 70 miles away. You know, you kind of have calculated it's going to take you XYZ amount of time. So your first day you make 12 miles. Your second day you're going to be lucky to make 10, because now everybody knows what they're in for the second day. They're sore already. Do you have some kind of muscle rub to help with sore muscles and stuff like that? Do you have that in your bug out bag? See, these are things you got to think about, guys, okay? So again, and then you got to figure every 5 to 6 days, you should probably take a day to rest and just have a day where you don't travel at all, where you let your body recover, not be sore, not, you know, going through the stress of everything that you're going for. So planning, this is all going to be planning, guys. You know, so something that you think that might take you 3 days to get there, it might take you 6 to 7 days to get there. So do you have enough food in your pack to get there like that? Always realize that things are not going to go smoothly like you think that they are. So having enough food, making sure you have some way to purify water along your way, and you're actually absolutely going to want to look at harvesting stuff along the way. Depending on the time of year, collecting wild edibles as you're walking. So know your wild edibles. We talked about that. If there's fruit trees and you can harvest apples and stuff like that, do it. Get that food. You're going to need that for that energy, okay? So those are things to think about. I wanted to put this in a realistic perspective for people so that they could understand it's not going to be easy. Your best day is going to be your first day. Depending on the people that are traveling in a group with you, they're going to slow you down, okay? So even if you are in peak physical condition, you're not going to be 6 miles ahead of the rest of the group. It's not realistic. You're going to need to stick together. And again, so you have your weapon. How much ammo are you carrying? Okay, those are things you need to think about as well. So all these things are going to go into that factor to get you to your bug out location. Now let's think about this real quickly before I jump off of here. You don't have a bug out location and you have to bug out. Where are you going? Do you have any kind of game plan in mind? Do you have a destination in mind where you could probably go and it might be safe there? Think about that, guys, okay? So anyway, I hope this video helps. Please like, comment, and share. If you are not subscribed to the channel, please do so. So take that into account and think about that. Please, tonight, 8 o'clock Eastern Time, I will be doing my live stream. So please join me for my live stream tonight at 8 o'clock. I will be on. I have not decided what the topic is going to be yet, so look for me tonight at 8, okay? Also remember, guys, we are all in this together. That's important to remember. Remember to hug and kiss the ones you love. Tell them every single day. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. We never know what's going to happen in life, so it's really, really important that you tell the people that you care about every single day. Also remember, guys, STD. It's one step at a time, one thing at a time, and one day at a time. Whatever you're trying to do, whatever you're trying to accomplish, you can do it. The only person that's going to stop you from getting there is yourself, okay? I'm going to want to mention really quickly, the sale on the website for the bucket meals for the legacy food is still going on. 25% off, and that's going to be ending on Wednesday. And we will not be having a sale for a while after that, just so you know. So don't think that, in 2 more weeks there's going to be another sale, because it's not. So anyway, unless Legacy themselves decide to do a sale. So anyway, guys, that's what's going on. I will see you all tonight for the live stream tonight. Look forward to seeing you there. Prepper Nurse 1, out for now.